So anything happening in DC sports this week?
No,
Hey, we were thinking about you because you're doing that quarterback book.
I am.
And Alex Smith is one of the, 4 or 5 guys that you're featuring.
So
And so you spent a lot of time with Alex. So
saves you gas money,
it's
too.
perfect for you. You're going to become a huge Skins fan now.
No. But instead of rooting ardently for them to lose every week, I'll have mixed emotions because I do like Alex a lot. He's a really good guy. I mean, he's just an absolute first-class guy. I wrote a column yesterday in the Post about the trade and about him, and one of the things I pointed out, and this has nothing to do with whether he'll be an effective quarterback here. I think he will be, but the Boston Globe did a study several years ago on athletes' foundations. You know, they all have foundations, so they can talk about their charity work. And they studied 150 different athletes' foundations, and they found that Alex Smith's foundation by far gave the most money to the actual charity of any of the 150. They get 91% of their revenue went to charity. The acceptable average is 65 to 75%, and more than half of the charities they studied didn't meet that standard. Alex Smith's charity gave 91%. And I think that says a lot about who he is. And I know from personal experience what a good guy he is. And he's also, I think he's underrated as a quarterback. I mean, people say, oh, he's got a terrible playoff record. How many fans in this town would raise their hands if you said to them, the quarterback you've just signed will get you to the playoffs 6 of the next 7 years?
Well, I think also in the playoffs he has 12 touchdowns, just 2 picks. So he's actually performed well.
I mean, his teams have lost, but remember the year in you probably don't, but the year in San Francisco when they ended up losing to the Giants in overtime when they fumbled the punt.
Kyle Williams fumbled 2 punts, yep.
Yeah, exactly. But in the week before against New Orleans, he was in this absolute duel with Drew Brees the last few minutes where
was awesome, yeah.
Brees went down, they scored. Smith went down, they scored. Brees went down, they scored. And then Smith went down again in the last minute, and they scored. I mean, he was tremendous. And the other thing is, he's
yep.
He is one of the quicker quarterbacks in the league. One of the games this year against the Jets, he had a 70-yard run.
Yes, he did.
Broke tackles and dodged people, and Kansas City ran some read option for him because of his speed and his quickness. So I think this is a great deal for the team in terms of the face of the franchise, in terms of his ability to play. And everybody was, of course, comparing Cousins to Alex Smith. That's not a comparison to make because Kirk Cousins wasn't coming back.
Right.
You're basically comparing Alex Smith to Colt McCoy.
Right.
That was or a rookie who you're going to have to groom. There's no comparison there. Alex Smith's the better deal. And now, I don't know what you guys are going to do for the next 3 years because there's not going to be a quarterback controversy to talk about.
That's true.
No, it'll be good.
Very good
Maybe
point.
we can focus on the game. We'd love that. Be honest with you, I'm so glad the Kirk headache is gone, and I was a Kirk supporter. But here's one thing
it has nothing to do with Kirk all of a sudden being a bad guy. He's not. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But the team blew it with him, and he was on his way out the door no matter
and
what.
I can't blame him. I wouldn't want to hitch my wagon to Bruce Allen either. That guy's the
Me
biggest
neither.
loser in town. I still am a loser. I still feel it's weird. I get it, but I still feel man, he definitely did not want to stay here. But anyway.
No, he didn't, but why would he?
Yeah, I can't blame him
I know,
one bit.
I get it. Believe me, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to sign. He'll probably be the highest paid. I've said this to you guys before. He'll probably be the highest paid player in football next year. And he doesn't have to deal with Snyder and Allen.
Right.
How can you turn that down?
Here's the one thing, though, that I thought was interesting. You tweeted this the other day, and Jason and I analyzed this, and we said, you're just being nice here. Because I love Doug Williams. That guy has so much integrity. If I have any judge of character, I really enjoyed sitting down and getting to know him, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we did our table manners
real
thing.
nice guy.
I mean, I just fell in love with the guy. Yeah. But I don't believe for a second he pulled the trigger on this deal, and you were giving him credit on social media. Come on, we know Bruce is running the show over there.
No, well, look, here's how it works. Doug is the guy who's going to say, ultimately, hey, Alex Smith, if we can get him, let's get him. And by the way, there were several other teams interested in Alex Smith. That's why they had to give up Fuller in order to pull the trigger on the deal. You had to give up something. Now, the money, ultimately, of course, Dan and Bruce make that decision. They have to approve it. But Doug was the one who pushed for Alex to be the guy, and that's why I gave him credit. I think he deserves credit.
All right. I still feel like
you think Allen and Doug and Snyder sat in a room together and said, this is the guy we're Do you think either of them is that football smart?
No, I think they're
I know
dummies,
they're
but
not.
that's never prevented them from anything stupid in the past.
No, but that's the point. This team drafted much better when they had Scott McCloughan in the room.
Of course.
They will make smarter decisions with Doug in the room because Doug is also football smart, and he's particularly quarterback smart.
Yes. No, and we agree. I mean, obviously, Doug Williams knows who Alex Smith is and said, hey, this is a
Well, he's watched, this is what personnel guys do. They knew months ago that Kirk wasn't coming back. Mm-hmm. So they've been looking at potential guys who are going to be free agents. They've been looking at college quarterbacks. And everybody in the NFL knew, number one, that when Kansas City drafted Patrick Mahomes last year in the draft, moved up to draft him, that they were going to deal Alex at the end of this year because you can't draft a guy 10th and have him sit for 2 years. 1 year maybe, but not 2 years.
I don't know
so
why.
Alex knew that. Alex knew this was his last year in Kansas City. He just didn't know where he was going to end up.